Hey guys, Gore here. Welcome back to the channel. For quite a while, it seemed like Squad has gone from a united front of like-minded players to a split where two different groups appear to be in a perpetual clash. I've boiled this split down to one simple thing: fun and a player's perception of fun. I know that sounds strange, but I'm going to ask you to stick with me on this and hear what I have to say. If you agree or disagree with me on the points I'm going to present, please let me know in a comment. I'd love to hear if others see eye to eye with me or if you think I've completely lost the plot. Before we do get started, about 87% of you that watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content here, hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching this video within a few hours of release, I'm live streaming over on Twitch right now. Come on by for a bit or just to say hello. Now, let's get into things. To preface everything I'm about to say, if anyone in the dev team happens to watch this video and thinks I'm onto something, please do not hesitate to reach out. I want to help. I may rag on the game occasionally, but it's only because I want it to be the best version of itself. Anyways, I digress. The first thing you're all probably thinking is, Gore, how the hell is fun the thing that's been causing so many issues in Squad? The bigger issues are that players aren't communicating and working as a team. They just want to run around shooting things. Well, a couple weeks ago, I published this video. In it, I talked about several things, with one of my points being that kills and deaths should be removed from the scoreboard, and also alluding to the incessant screeching you can often find at the endgame screen. Go back another month where I published this video, talking about my recent lack of enjoyment in Squad. Many of you agreed with the points I made in both, but I started to notice a trend. The word fun kept coming up, either telling me to stop taking the game so seriously, or in the case of removing KD and changing the endgame screen, telling me not to consider the removal of the only fun things in Squad. All these comments got me thinking and doing some inflection about my relationship with Squad and why I choose to play it over every other shooter on the market. I came to the conclusion that everything led back to my own perception of fun. When I was a teen, jumping off the top of Rust and hitting a 360 no-scope was fun. As I got older, racking up loads of kills through any means available was fun. Nowadays, my idea of fun is finding myself among a mixture of friends and complete strangers and having the cohesiveness to come together as a team, communicate, problem solve, and hopefully, when the dust settles, come out victorious. Does that mean I'm Ebenezer Scrooge and laughter is prohibited? No. You can best believe I'll be singing along to some country roads while we're in the lodgy, or laughing my ass off when my buddy gets his head surgically removed by a 30 round. Squad isn't an individual sport, it's a team sport. We're not here to solely work towards personal commendations. We're here to work together as a team. Some days, things may not go too well. Other days, we might find our groove where nothing can go wrong. But at the end of it all, the goal is to improve as a whole, as a community. The reason I fell in love with this community years ago is because of this sentiment, where instead of ragging on the new guy, people understand the struggles of being new in this game and would do whatever they could to hoist these players up. I think this idea that Squad is supposed to be a conventionally fun game is why we're seeing this divide in the player base. While so many of us just want to win games and work with our teammates to do so, we have this other part of the player base that is finding their enjoyment in the more selfish avenues. Blasting their soundboard clips into their mic and just constantly looking for the most expedited route to shooting things. Now, are these players wrong in doing these things? No. This game isn't an underground club that requires you to conform in order to gain entry. Who am I or we to tell people that they can't enjoy the things that they paid for? There's no but here either. I fully accept that I as an individual can only strive to provide the best information and help to new players that are eager and willing to learn. I have no control over those that just want to mess about. The issue, though, is that nowhere within the game is it giving the slightest notion to these new players on how the game is supposed to be played. I feel like Squad is slowly losing its identity, and it desperately needs to put some emphasis on what it's trying to be. From my perspective, if the people developing Squad have the intention that a game is supposed to be played a certain way, changes need to be implemented. The biggest thing for me is that there needs to be more tools and/or tutorials for new players. Currently, we have a 15-minute long, non-mandatory infantry guide that does help teach some basic gameplay elements, but leaves so much to be desired. In addition to this infantry guide, I'd love to see something like a game mode guide so new players can load into a game more confident of where they should be and what they should be doing there. Many of us know how complex squad leading is, so what about an SL tutorial that goes past the realm of just setting up a fob? Some quizzes could even be made where you're shown a vehicle and you're given a multiple choice question to identify what that vehicle's name is. I didn't even mention this in my recent Hell Let Loose video, but in that game, they have a field manual that describes a multitude of different facets of the game. Shit, I bet there's a handful of community members that would volunteer to build out a field manual for Squad. I know I would. Now, I'm not a game dev, and I have no scope as to how difficult it is to make any of these tutorials that I mentioned, but I think something that is being overlooked is just how much we, the community, care about making this game the best it can be. On the homepage of Squad, you always see a side panel outlining the recent update and providing several links. Why not expand that to include community-made tools and tutorials? There's thousands of Squad players with a vast pool of knowledge, little of which has been tapped into. Members of this community have written up complete guides on how to play certain kits or the best strategies for fob placement. Let's throw those on there for players to see. A bit of a shameless plug, but I've created a library of guides, many of which aimed at helping new players. Why not throw some of the community's content up there? Now, putting all of our faith into something changing that we have no control over is likely not the best route. So what can we, as the community, do to help those that want to be helped? Well, I think one of the best and also easiest things we can do is let new players know we're here to help. What does that look like, you may ask? It can be as simple as asking your squad, regardless if you're SLing or not, if anyone is new and if they have any questions. The amount of times I've done this and been able to identify who the new players are has allowed me to help them immensely. Once I know someone is new, I'll ask them if they understand what we just did or if they know the name of the vehicle that just passed us. Simple acts like these are how we can get more people helping one another and improving the overall level of play in Squad. The biggest thing to remember is that new players don't know to ask questions or they're too scared to ask, so it's on us to make sure that people that want to learn this game and adapt to the style of play are given the opportunity to learn. Changes do not happen overnight, so in the short term, it seems that we're going to continue down this split path, but I'm quite optimistic in where the game will be in the long run. I personally see Squad as one of those niche games that does and always will have a dedicated player base similar to a game like Arma 3. And much like Arma, I think Squad's future sees it become more intertwined with the modding scene. There's already been a substantial push from the community and a mostly positive response from the devs in regards to getting mods integrated into the normal server browser. There are some incredible mods already on the scene, with more on the way, which for the most part can solve a lot of the content gaps and allow the devs to work on new tools for players. I think as time goes on, we'll see games like Battlefield 2042 and others come onto the scene, and the players that choose to play Squad like any other shooter are going to move elsewhere because those games do that style of play better. Squad was never meant to be in the limelight, so as other games start to cast a shadow back onto Squad and it fades away a bit, I truly believe that the quality of games will improve. At the end of the day, Squad's a video game, and people are going to play games in the way they find the most fun and entertaining. I'm not saying that anyone is wrong in doing that either. To me, it just feels like Squad is slowly losing its identity, and many of us that want a more mature gaming experience are having our tiny safe haven pillaged by outsiders that will dispose of our belongings once they've had their fun. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and maybe it affirmed some of the thoughts you've been having yourself. I want to hear your thoughts, positive or negative. All I ask is you keep it civil. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, I'm out.